family and to Ben, and I want you to know that we are going to get that book of paperwork, the criminal charges pending against Daniel Andrews. Can we do better than that for the recordings? We've got the criminal charges in the public domain for Daniel Andrews on the 17th. Do you want to send a message to Ben to tell his father Brian Shaw we need him next Saturday on this platform? Can we say, Brian, Brian,
and employers, a person's vaccination status has become a civil rights issue. Such actions are against the very deep notion of individual freedom and autonomy. And there is a deep concern for the generations to come. The longer these mandates continue, the more we are cementing the autonomy of medical choice as an acceptable form of discrimination. So beyond all of this, beyond all of this, we have such an opportunity like never before to create our own solutions. And during this time of transition, and I call it a transition because it is only for a moment, during this time of transition, and I call it a slowing down of tyranny. Because during this time, we are doing all the things. We are emailing, we are calling, we are protesting, we are rallying, we are writing, we're doing all the right things. We're speaking for those who cannot speak for themselves. And today, each one of us are a representation of that love. But all of this is only for a season. Only for a season. And you know what I love about seasons? Is that nobody has control over it. The beautiful thing about growth is that transition always doesn't stay that way. Things don't always stay this way. And so we won't need to rally this way for very long. We won't need to march this way for very long. And it's not because evil is abolished, not yet. But because we are here as a bridge for each other, connection. We're planting seeds. We're sharing the good news of liberation. We are supporting, we are guiding, we hope, we be the light, we sound the alarm, and we build up, and then we exit. And this is Reformation. Reformation calls for a new strategy, for supernatural solutions, because if you didn't already know, we are in a spiritual warfare. And we need spiritual weapons. We're living out the Spirit of the law is key, because the letter of the law, as Jackie just shared with us, no longer provides adequate protections of our liberties or safety. Taking a stand requires doing things differently. And it may feel foreign and yet innately aligned that we no longer choose to live or operate in their systems. You better believe it. And so from here, let's focus. Let's focus on getting organized. Let's focus on information that moves you to act. Let's focus on co-creation, co-regulation. Come together. Get together in small local groups. Begin to create your own food co-ops. Create alternative educational pathways. Grow your own food, your own garden. Medical professionals, get creative. Circulate in our own economy, our resources. You truly commit to something with a definitive of purpose, a solid strategy with the help of one another, we can pull this off. It's going to take massive action, but we can do it together. Can you imagine? Scattered all over Victoria, all over Australia, all over the world, safe freedom spaces. Do you see it? Do you see it? Let us transition from being focused down here on a screen. No vision, no view, no perspective. When there is no vision, the people perish. Look up! Look up! See who and what is around you. Look up! See who and what is around you. Bring your resources, your skills to the table of community. Community where we care and we comfort and we grieve together and we mourn together and we rise up together. Behind me here is the Victoria Freedom Keepers team, and I can see some of you out there too. They should be up here. This is your family. This is your extended family. When you see, every time you see a Freedom Keepers yellow t-shirt, know that we see you, know that we feel you, and know that we are here for you. You are safe. All over Victoria and all over Australia, all over the world, this grassroots movement, we are building intentional communities of support and practice and action. They are on the front lines daily, in the trenches, doing community, because it's how you show up on the daily. And this is the time. The time is done for holding on to what you have built up for your own social security, for your own bank accounts. Your family is our family. Your children are our children. The time of being selfish, trying to fight to hold on to what you have and go back to what? To the old ways of being dependent on a system that is designed to enslave you. It's all an illusion. So this is the rally cry. This is the rally cry at the front lines of truth and justice. What has happened here and still happening here in Victoria is injustice. We are defending the freedom to choose, to feel, to think, to believe, to speak, to act, to believe on our own choosing against a direct attack on our liberty of conscience. So today we rise up and we get ready because change is coming. We move forward with new vision, with new reference points of truth. And we enter deeper in truth and faith that is steadfast, immovable, unbreakable.
Thank you so much.
Seek the signal. Pray for each other. Show love to one another. Forgive one another. Build community in rural areas.
Thank you. Nice to see such a small crowd. At least a couple of hundred, at least. It's an ongoing joke, obviously. This is not so Jovial though. How many of you here, because you have felt a little bit of pain? The pain of change. Shedding, you might say. Shedding of the old, rebirth into the new. I've seen a little bit of change happening here. Have you heard the nurses speaking? Seemed like she was after a little bit of change. What do you think? Many of you have brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, children that are in pain. As Ed Gilbert says, we all have an interest in security. Security to end that pain. And we, the unvaxxed, the unmasked, the unsocially distanced, otherwise known as the uns, feel like we've lost a little bit of that security. But is that a perception that can be changed? I turn to Justice Robert Beach-Jones. Now this is the justice that adjudicated the matter of the AFL lawyers in New South Wales. In his decision in Chasm versus Hazard, I quote, see if you can follow me on this one. A person's right to bodily integrity is not violated just because a person agrees to be vaccinated to avoid a general prohibition on movement. Do we agree with Mr. Beach-Jones? Sorry, did you hear what they just said? Do you agree with what Justice Beach-Jones says? Right, sorry, I got you that time. Now my good friend Tony Pecora, he can't be here today, famously arrested for visiting his MP Josh Burns. Well, famous to me anyway. He attests that Beach-Jones might be right. And that if he is right, the uns amongst us must set up a parallel society. Who here wants to set up a parallel society? It's a bit lukewarm, it's a bit hit and miss, isn't it? Some of us do, some of us don't. So the question I have for Tony and those of you who want to set up a parallel system is, how much pain are you willing to endure in doing so? I must confess, I don't believe Beach-Jones is right, and I think that he can be proven wrong in the High Court. Anybody care if he's proven wrong in the High Court? Freemasons, I hear. It's the Freemasons, alright. There is still much pain to tolerate, and a warning on seeking to end that pain too early. Neil Strauss, American author, he aptly says, people go through so much pain trying to avoid pain. And as Oprah says, I know all of you would love Oprah. Who doesn't love Oprah? Come on. She said, turn your wounds into wisdom. Hey, even Oprah can say some wise things. So, I'm getting heckled already. So how to do this, to turn pain into a new vision? From the turnout here today, whether you see it or not, it's happening right in front of our eyes. Because we are the new power. No, I know, I want to hear that again. We are the new power. Are we the new power? Thank you. We are ascending. That's what this is all about, right? Ascension. I've reflected over the last few years and knowledge that in the 1970s and again in 2000, Melbourne had large protests and in fact all around the country. 2003 against invasion of Iraq. Some estimate 500,000 people. But the protest affected no change. That is, the invasion still happened. Against the will of the people. It is contrary to the idea that politics runs downstream of culture. The Australian government did not listen. So the question is, are we any better place today? Now let's just hold on. The world has never known a global uprising as we have it today. An ascension. When Rosa Parks refused to give her bus seat up, it was December 20, 1956, and yet the famous "I Have a Dream" speech delivered by Martin Luther King was not until 1963, almost 7 years later. And then we had the Civil Rights Act was enacted, voting rights, 1965. So politics runs downstream of culture, right? Perhaps the medium of this flow is thick and oozy and slow sometimes. In Australia too, our own constitution provides some historical foundation to what we might say is overt racism. Where's BLM? At least segregation at the minimum. Section 127, probably not many of you here would know about this. Section 127 of the Constitution provided that in reckoning the numbers of people of the Commonwealth or of a state or other part of the Commonwealth, Aboriginal natives shall not be counted. Does that sound familiar? Shall not be counted, segregated, divided. Sound familiar? This meant that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, they weren't recognised as part of the Australian population. The states enacted Aboriginal Protection Act, which gave them the right to remove children from their families. So in some cases, the ooze of the stream between politics and culture does not seem to run at all. Section 127 of our Constitution was the subject of a referendum in 1967. So it only took 60 odd years for the politics to ooze downstream from our culture.
Are you performing?
We had the Northern Rangers controversy in 1957, the Impala Bar petitions in 1963, 1965 Freedom Ride. All of these were considered the tinder that started the fire, resulting in the referendum that removed Section 127 in the Constitution. Something about what we're doing here today, starting a fire. I shouldn't say that too loudly. They might get me on arson charges. Turn it up. Full voting rights, however, were not granted federally until 1984, right? So it took a while. I want to know, are all you people in this for the long haul? Yeah! Fully sick, I see. Oh no, I didn't hear you. Are you in this for the long haul? I tell you what, we've got some things coming. We've got some things coming, another strain. Who knows whether this is our last legal protest for a while. So I'm going to try and wrap this up quickly here. Pain and resilience is what I've been talking about here. And that's why we're here today, because the ascension continues. We make strides every day. The media is slowly recognising our legitimacy, not that we need it. The MPs that make up Parliament will either hear our calls or slowly be replaced with people who do. The High Court is beginning to understand that we, the people, have arrived. We, the people, have our rights. We, the people, demand justice. We demand justice, don't we? We're not just here spinning our wheels, are we? We demand justice, don't we? We cannot falter. We cannot stop. There are hard roads ahead. Our nation, much like other Western liberal democracies, is founded on principles. Some may argue that constitutions are set up to enshrine rights and freedoms. I do not believe this is so, personally. They are, however, made on the basis that people as subjects are under God, free to make decisions in our own lives. The various acts of Parliament being set up to further protect these rights in line with the principle of doing no harm unto another. I'm not religious either, but I believe this. We do not do harm to another. When, however, the laws become tyrannical, it has been said that, I'm just looking for a t-shirt around here that says it, rebellion becomes mandatory. Put another way, when the laws and edicts of authority, I'm in the last paragraph. Put another way, when the laws and edicts of authority and power no longer reflect the very protections that the foundations of the authority were set up to protect in the first instance, in the seminal matter of Marbury versus Madison in the States, Are you to close your eyes to the violation? If we do, and those in positions of privilege do, then we close our eyes on the foundations of liberalism and democracy. And in the words of the Manic Street Preachers, if you tolerate this, then your children will be next. Thank you.